Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of My Orisha Journey. It's me, Daydream Alston, aka Oyabunmi. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. So, before we get into the video, I wanted to just share with you guys that I do tarot readings and I also offer Ifa readings. So if you're interested in either one of those, go to my website, daydreamalston.com, and just, contact me and let me know and I'll send you the details, okay? Great. So before I get started on this two-parter, because we got a two-part message today, I wanted to share with you something I've been working on. So over the years, I have amassed, a great deal of information about Ifa tradition. I have my readings and all of this information. And I just wanted to show you my new work of art. It's my Ifa binder where I keep all of my information. So I have a section for my readings. I have a section where it's just like stuff I study, where I keep my notes and things like that. You see my artwork? Yes, honey, I am talented. Don't hate. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that. So, it's a lot. You pick up a lot of information studying this stuff. So I suggest you get you a binder, okay? Because you can have a lot of information over time. So today's topic is what Ifa says about marriage. So I'm starting with part 1 and then part 2 is going to be in a separate video. But it's just so much information that I wanted to break it down that way. And it's really good information. Okay, let's get into it. So I came across this verse and a story that I thought was fascinating in reference to marriage in Ogbe Ogunda. So one day, Orunmila cast Ifa. And I know that sounds a little strange to some, right? Because sometimes we use the words interchangeably. We use Orunmila and Ifa as one. But just know that Orunmila, the deity, can also cast Ifa to pull information for himself and his destiny. So he did that, and he was told that he would be going on a spiritual journey to the city of Iwo. He was told that there would be great wealth that would come from this journey. But he was also told to be careful of his temperament and watch his anger. Okay, remember that. So it's just like he's being told, you're going to get all of this wealth. You're going to be so prosperous when you go to this city, but you must be mindful of your attitude, basically, right? Your temperament, how you show up in that space. So he goes, because he's excited. This is his destiny, and he's following the advice of Ifa. He goes to the city, and as he arrives, he goes to the king's palace, and he's like, hey, I am Babalawo. And you would think he would be received well, right? And treated with respect and all of that. No. They took Orunmila and put him in a sheep's pen, right, where they hold their sheep, and told him that's his accommodation for his stay there. In addition to that, the king's eldest daughter came and was, meant to be like his caretaker. So she would bring his food and things like that. And Orunmila couldn't believe how rude this woman was. She would come to him, spill her food, spill his, food and drink all over him, and just her attitude was so rotten. So now, Orunmila sees this is why Ifa said I need to manage my anger, right? I have to be careful of my anger. So he's living in a sheep's pen. He's being treated horribly by this woman, right? And this goes on for some time. Like, it just goes on for some time, and he's just doing his best to keep cool. So as time is going on, the king's family members start to fall ill, and the Babalawo, Orunmila, is called on to come and fix the situation, to come and cast Ifa and find out what's going on and what to do. So he does that. And in addition, what they didn't know that at the same time, Orunmila is also casting Ifa and doing sacrifice on behalf of the city. So he's doing that so that the city would be prosperous, so that they would not see war, so that their children would not die. So he's being treated like crap, but is still doing dafa, reading and sacrifice for the city, in addition to taking care of the king. So the king finally finds out that the reason why his family is getting sick is because the king's ancestors are mad at how he's treating someone in his charge. Come to find out, after some investigation, the king finds out that the person that the ancestors are mad at him about treating, badly is Orunmila. His ancestors are not with it. So his ancestors show up and kick his butt because they want him to treat Orunmila better. So when he finds this out, he runs to Orunmila and he's like, profusely apologizing. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry that I treated you this way. How dare I? And what happens now is that he begins to shower Orunmila with gifts. So the prediction of Ifa that this would be a prosperous trip now begins to reveal itself, right? So he's being showered with gifts, and he, finally takes up his stuff, all of this wealth he's gathered and amassed in Iwo, and he prepares to leave the city. As he's leaving the city, the eldest daughter of the king runs up and comes and tells her dad in front of Orunmila, the king, hey, I want to marry this man. And the king is like, really? Why? And I think Orunmila probably was like, what? Why? And she says she had never met a man as patient as Orunmila in all her life. And she starts to tell Orunmila that she doesn't have bad character. It's not in her character to treat someone badly like that. However, she was testing his temperament to make sure that he would be a good husband. So now, on top of Orunmila leaving with all of this wealth, right? All of this financial wealth, he's also leaving with a wife. And that is one of the highest forms of wealth in the Ifa tradition, in the Ifa practice. That and children, not just money. So as he's returning home, right, the people are looking and they're like, okay, so you got all this wealth, that's wonderful, but who's this woman? And they're like, oh my goodness, she's so beautiful, who is this? And Orunmila lets them know this is his wife. And he says to the people, he calls her, he introduces her as his wife, Iya Iwo. And he says, if any one of you wants to marry such a beautiful woman, you must be ready to persevere. Okay, you hear that? If any one of you wants to marry such a beautiful woman, you must be ready to persevere. To me, a story like this is liquid gold. There are like multiple messages in it. And I was just really, there's so many stories in the Odu that display a level of patience that I don't know that I'll ever reach in this lifetime, right? So Orunmila knew that he would be gaining wealth from this trip. He also knew he had to watch his anger. But can you imagine how it felt to be in a place where you're there to help and they treat you like crap, and he still maintains that balanced character, that good and gentle character. He still is patient, right? Because all of these things are happening and he's not seeing that wealth right away. This went on for months, and he's patient and he's persevering and just pushing through, and he's believing the teachings of Ifa. He's believing the prediction of Ifa. Like, he's just certain it's going to come to pass, and this is the work he needs to do. So when I think about this in relation to marriage, just think about the whole story, right? And I think the things that come out is that we need to be very, very patient, not just when we get married, but in that initial courting process. We need to persevere, and that the people of quality, the men and women of quality with good character. Remember, she was just testing Orunmila, but the people of good quality and character are the people who we might need the most patience and perseverance to be with. So sometimes we'll, choose someone and want to be with them, and then, these things pop up and we can't believe it, and we're like, oh my goodness, this can't be the person I'm supposed to be with. Orunmila married a woman who was consistently rude and nasty to him. But I'm not encouraging us to do the same. I just want you to pay attention, because what you think is a curse sometimes is actually a blessing. Okay? And that's where taking time comes in. That's where prayer and doing your own offering and meditation comes in. That's where going and getting your reading comes in, doing your sacrifice, and just living in alignment with your destiny, following your taboos and things like that. So Orunmila's taboo was to be careful with his anger. And he did that to a T and ended up getting the promises of Ifa, ended up seeing that manifest in his life. Isn't that wonderful? I love, love, love that story. So that was part one. On part two, we'll talk about why, like the reasons why Ifa says we should marry, what the steps are when we're considering marriage, the men's and the women's roles, okay? Thank you guys. Have a great, great day. I pray that you are in alignment with your highest destiny, that you are walking towards your highest consciousness, that you are doing all of the things that you need to do to evolve at this time. Ashe, ashe, asheo. Bye.